Hey guys, what's going down? Drew Danger back here on the scene, giving you guys another tasteful video. I hope it's tasteful. Hope you guys like it. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Representing Team Bonsai, Buckaroo Banzai, classic 80s movie. And it's really tied into the theme of today. And if I may quote the great Peter Weller, who played Buckaroo Banzai, also known as the guy that played the legendary RoboCop, when he's on the piano, he says, it's like they say, no matter where you go, there you are. I had to say that. And that's literally what he says. You're like, no matter where you go, and you're kind of like, okay, what's he going to say? Oh, there you are. Like, and the whole movie is kind of, it's kind of thrown out there. You got Peter Weller, you got Jeff Goldblum, you have John Lithgow, you have Christopher Lloyd who plays John Big Boutte. It's great. Um, Clancy Brown's in it as well. Really neat movie. You haven't seen it, check it out. And now it is kind of a B sci-fi kind of weird movie, so just be prepared for that. I like that stuff. I think that's what really made film, what really put a lot of people out there, really challenged the world. But that's me. But check it out if you got some time. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and the Hong Kong Cavaliers. So here we go, guys. So I am talking about today specifically the dangers of movie romance versus real romance. When I was a young man, probably early 20s. Okay, so we're early 20s, which is a long time ago for me because I'm almost 40. There was a young lady. Well, let me get this set up right. I had some friends of mine and another group of friends of mine that were all having this party. So I went with one group of friends to another friend's party. I know it sounds confusing. So I went and they were playing a live show, music. Their band was playing and stuff. And I was still in the music scene at that time. And I'm going to do a video about the punk rock scene and my involvement in that to some level. I'll be talking about that later and why I don't represent or play or do any of that stuff anymore. Whatever you want to call it. We'll get to that later. But right now, we're going to talk about this. So I'm at the show. Everything's fine and great. And, I'm watching them play and they're doing a really good job. And there's a lot of people at the party I hadn't seen in maybe I've only been out of high school for a few years, early 20s. So I don't know, 4 years or 5 years, whatever it was. And there were some people there and I was like, oh man, it's good to see you. And, it was a really interesting time. I remember because I was single at the time, I wouldn't meet my wife until I was 27. So I still had a lot of years to go. But I remember I was out in the backyard at their house and it started to rain a little bit. It was dark. And out of nowhere, I saw this cigarette light up. Right? And out came this young lady. She was pretty. And I looked at her and I was like, wow. It was just like the movies. Wrong answer. But if you paid attention to the movie thing, you would notice that little movie things that aren't reality. I mean, the things that happen are reality, but it doesn't mean they're going to work out the way that they do in the movies. In the movies, guy sees girl, likes girl, they go through some challenges, they get together, and everything's perfect and sunshiny. Movie ends. You guys seem to forget that the movie ends usually with them in a good way. There's a few movies that it may not play out to that point, but a majority, almost a 9.5 out of 10, it's going to be, hey, we're good. Everything's happy and sparkly and magical and everything else in between, right? Well, the reality is, for those of you that do know, that's not what happens. Exactly. So anyway, I see this young lady. I talk to her. I'm looking cool. She's looking cool. So eventually we start dating. And it was a nightmare of a time. It was not something that I would say would have been the best decision that I made. But see, I 110% based that whole idea of getting into that situation off of the falsities of movies, which is something we have to be aware of. There's a lot of knowledge in film. There's a lot of truth. But sometimes, especially with romance, that's the one that's like, yeah, they really hype that up to be a little bit more than it should be. And the thing I based it off of, there was this movie called Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion. Okay? And in the scene, Janeane Garofalo plays the girl. She's in the back of the high school smoking a cigarette, right? So when she's smoking this cigarette, there's another guy, a cowboy-looking guy. And he's kind of rude to her. And she's trying to rush and smoke this cigarette as fast as she can to try to get back to school. Well, when I saw this, I thought Janeane Garofalo represented the type of girl that I would eventually marry. Because I was a musician guy. I was in that scene. I was into that look. So I thought that's probably where I'm going to end up going, right? Little did I know, that was the wrong way because I paid attention to it. I didn't pay attention to reality. Okay? So this girl is doing the same thing. Except it's not at daytime, it's at night. But here's the other side of that. There's a song written by the group The Smithereens from the 80s, which is a great, fantastic band. But the lyrics that they say are, saw you standing in the rain. Then I heard you say, I want your love, but it comes out wrong. I want to live, but I don't belong. I close my eyes and I see blood and roses, right? Well, there she was standing in the rain. Very descriptive of the girl they're talking about in the song. So I put those two together because that song is playing in Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion on that specific scene. So I'm thinking because, I'm that 80s, 90s guy that, the romance it exists in that way. That, yeah, that's got to be reality, right? Oh boy. Let me tell you something. When you don't know the mess you're getting into, it could take you for the wildest roller coaster. That person put me through a long list of heartache, pains, and problems that I never forgot, that stuck with me. They say you learn something from it. I learned a lot. Learned a lot of not what to do. There was drugs, there was alcohol, not from me at that level, but from this person. That happened. And it got so ridiculous, it got so bad, that one night this person decided to get in the car with some guys that were had been drinking to score some ecstasy. They went driving. Big accident. She lived, but she was mangled up. I mean, she had to have some serious right away surgery. It was bad. It was real bad. I don't even know how she survived. I'm guessing maybe because they were all so messed up, that they say like when you're all drunk, for some reason people come out of it. The people they hit that weren't drinking, they don't survive. It's a weird thing. I can't describe it exactly. It's just a weird freak occurrence. But yeah, she was, and she was still trying to score drugs, and she was still trying to party up, and she was still trying to live it up. And that told me right there, which is what I'm trying to share with you guys. Don't fall for the movie trick. The movies lie to you about that. Reality is relationships take time. Relationships, when you know, you do know. Okay? That is very true. But the thing is, what kind of people are you bringing into your life? What kind of people are you choosing to be mothers and fathers to your children? What kind of people are you allowing around those that really love you and admire you? See, that's the thing. You can't just allow anyone in your life. I know a lot of people are like, well, I just date and whatever happens, whatever happens. Okay, good for you. But if you actually find quality people and really invest the time into finding quality people, it would be that much better in your life than having 50 people you would have dated that completely destroyed your life. Because think about it like this. If you get someone pregnant who is not good for your life, you are now stuck with that person for the rest of your life. You guys will always be connected due to that kid, even outside of that. But because you guys share that will always be a part in your life. Every graduation you go to, they're there, you're there. Every party, they're there, you're there. Every living experience, they're there, you're there. Court dates, you're there, they're there. Child custody, you're there, they're there. See, that's taken a lot of time out of your life. So I would advise you guys that want to take in this wisdom. For those that don't, hey, that's cool, I get it. But for those of you guys that do want to check this out and do want to listen to me very carefully. Choose wisely. Like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with the Holy Grail. They chose poorly, as the knight says. And then he tells Indiana Jones, you chose wisely. Because that's how life works. And in that movie, the guy, he rushed, it's got to be this. He didn't take his time. He didn't think like Indiana Jones did. He didn't try to figure out, you know what? I need to really think about this before I get it. Because, if I drink the wrong thing, I'm going to die. But he was in such a rush to just take whatever, and then he died. And was it worth it? No. So don't put yourself in a sacrificial spot and get rocks thrown at you if you don't have to. If you could go into a situation with better eyes, better thinking, better view, better decisions, why not? Why take the painful road? And the pain, it's not like, this road is hard and it's painful, but at the end of it, it's going to make you a better person. No, this road is going to just destroy and demolish your life. You might learn some things because you learn from everything, but it's not going to enhance your life. It might kill you because it might jack up your health. It could really mess up your health and put you in a bad spot. And I can tell you about that too. In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more, and then I'm going to end this, and then I'm going to the next video, because remember, we're going to do 15 minutes. So I'll talk about that part, because this is too long to say in the time that's left. But my thing is, drugs, alcohol, crazy habits can take an awesome person or what could be an awesome person or a person with some sort of potential and drag them down the toilet, guys, completely. And you guys need to understand that. So we're going to get to the next video. Going to stop this one. Representing Team Bonsai. I'm going to have a different shirt on next time. Be awesome, guys. Drew Danger out.